Whoops, making a video. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, the lovely Maryann has made a video. And generally speaking, very likable, nice person. We've had our disagreements in the past, and we will continue to disagree, I guess. And sometimes it gets petty and nasty and whatever, but, I played a couple minutes of video and it already went wrong. Like, they always go wrong because, the misparaphrase, the putting of the wrong agenda in my agenda gun. It's just sucks. I mean, I don't, I talk some radical and some nasty, and I'll take responsibility for that, but I didn't kill Martin Luther King, I didn't shoot Kennedy. I mean, you gotta get the crimes right. So anyway, she's initiating by saying we need incentives, Alright, I think I call my economic plan incentive economics. Fair economics, incentive economics, I use those two terms. So I'm all for incentives, right? I'm just for those, the end result, the product being earned, not unearned. And so this conversation specifically was about inheritance in the big picture, and the most obscene kind of wealth in you could migrate it to that. Like, again, I wouldn't prohibit the acquisition of wealth, I would prohibit the distribution of wealth based on something other than an earned standard. And so that's the key difference here. Most of the people who own the stock market never went to work. Okay, they never did any work. That's the point. And you're not on the point.
Carrot in front of people to motivate them, but but yet you want to take away the biggest, fattest carrot there is, which is ownership.
Yeah, well, that's ownership of the means of production. That's right, the social infrastructure. Now, you mean ownership of your car? I'm not taking that away. Ownership of your house? I'm not taking that away. I'm taking away your right to distribute ownership, to bestow it, to inherit it. To say, I'm a Major League Baseball player, I'll give my Major League Baseball player status to somebody. That's kind of bullshit. You're not allowed to to distribute as part of your wealth acquisition your driver's license, are you? You can't bestow it to somebody, can you? No, you can't. There's lots of valuable things we earn in our life that we can't give to somebody else. They have to earn it. And that's the argument here, is that the players on the field should have gotten there through a fair process, not an unfair process. Again, this is the most serious game we play, this economy game. It is life and death. And you say you want to cheat for your children. Well, sorry. It's cheating.
But you not only want to take it away from the 1% or the 0.5%, you seem to want to take it away from everybody.
Yeah, well, you won't be able to prove that with any words that came out of my mouth, so that's sort of bogus.
And I just think that is, that could only make things worse, because ownership...
Well, it's a false premise, but taking it a step further, somebody, I'll just extrapolate on your comment with somebody else's comment. Somebody mentioned small business. And I'm saying go ahead. You want to start a small business, start a small business. I'm just saying if you create my world where the advantages of mass production are taken advantage of, the advantages taken advantage of, in a rational manner, okay? Not with this stupid government union crap. Not in this grafty crap way, but in an open source, honest way where it's accountable to the customers, the people. I'm saying your little one-man shows are going to be of no value to anybody because everybody's going to know they're going to get an honest shot. When they go to the store, there's going to be no incentive to be cheated. No incentive to give me, dioxin Mexican carrots instead of the real deal. Whatever it is I'm buying. Okay, because they're all going to be accountable for their jobs to the customers. The customers are going to be the owners. And I'm saying those corporations, those businesses will leave you so little slack for you to take advantage of. There'll be so few niches open to you that there'll be no need for whatever, small business.
Not only it's like a human thing,
Especially small business is just in business to make somebody a fortune, right? It's just in business to rip me off. Why would I go to somebody who's in business just to rip me off?
We need hope, we need...
And to steal from his employees. I mean, look, you can't get rich in an honest way. You think you can? Well, you can't. The only way you get rich is you take the value of what your employees make and you cheat them by not giving them the real value of what they produced. That's the only way you get rich. Stealing.
The hope of moving upward, of mobility, and all of our economic systems have problems. It doesn't matter which one we're talking about. Capitalism certainly has its problems, but my humble opinion, it is the best system for providing.
Yeah, right. And it's the king system. Okay, fine. So, yes, the monarchy's in place. You think the monarch's a great show. I'm saying we really haven't had a good revolution. You're going to say that my revolution was the Soviet Union, which was banning rock and roll and doing all kinds of other insane things, which has nothing to do with any agenda of mine. So again, and again, state ownership, full of graft, full of no accountability to the people. The people running the companies were never put up for election. None of that. So, but yes, you'll say we've already tried it and we've demonstrated that it sucks. I'm saying bullshit. We've never tried a system that doesn't depend on graft, patronage, and inheritance. And if we do, you will be amazed at how simple life can be.
Individual mobility, and not only for the individual but also for society.
Again, my plan has nothing to do with individual mobility. It doesn't stagnate it in any way whatsoever. And in fact, it gives people even more upward mobility, because I would make education free and I would actually pay kids to become educated. I'd pay people to become educated. It'd be a social incentive to have educated people. So, wrong again.
And, why... every time I hear you say fairness, it's kind of like nails on a blackboard. It's like, fairness.
Yeah, what? You wouldn't be able to say you can't figure it out if you're watching a football game. You wouldn't be able to say you can't figure it out if you're watching soccer, chess, checkers. I can name every single game that human beings play just about, and everybody would know what's fair and unfair. And how come the game of economics, we just can't figure it out? Convenient, I'd say.
Because fairness is like, what could be more fair than those that, than having the strongest survive,
Oh, really? I mean, they're hilarious. So the Rothschilds are the strongest? They have the best genetic code? When was the last time they were really tested genetically? I mean, when was the last time they actually had to run 50 feet? I mean, you're just being preposterous now, right? The kings and the queens they were genetically superior. They were superior human beings because they were the blue bloods. That it's laughable. Their blood is so fucking bad. They had to import new blood. Their babies died so often. So what are you talking about? This is about inheritance. Don't you still can't figure this out. The subject is inherited wealth.
But it's not to say that the strong shouldn't extend a hand to the less strong. I'm not saying that, but...
Oh, yes, you are. And you're saying it in a context that's completely irrelevant to my video, which makes it even more You. Disgusting-ish and such. I get that. Alright, I'm back. Cigarettes. Yeah, visitor game. So it was good. Thank you very much. Anyway, back to the fun and such. Oh, we need more volume, no doubt. Increase the volume. Okay, that should be enough. Hopefully.
You know, obviously in a competition, you want the best man to win, always, you know. It's usually the best for everybody.
Yeah, again, this is so you're telling me the best man dilutes his genetics by 50%, you know, and the spawn is therefore the winner by default. So, yeah, why have horse races? We'll just go by pedigree and say they automatically win. No point in having a race, right? Yeah. We're really not on the subject.
Not necessarily perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. And
Well, again, I mean, I sort of said in the video, right? I mean, show me another game. I said these things. I did this. I mean, where is it intrinsic or fundamental to any competition or sport or any contest? Where is inheritance somehow part of the function, part of the enhancement of the test? It's completely a test breaker, not a test maker.
I would even argue that there really isn't such a thing in the real world as fairness. Well,
whatever. In the real world, there's no such thing as fairness. I mean, you know, Mr. Walnut, nature is what we're here to overcome, or whatever the line is from. Well, I mean, you could find lines like that in so many movies anyway. I mean, what do you think civilization is supposed to be? Civilization isn't the wild. The very nature of civilization is to create the thing called fairness, is to create the good game. And you just don't want a good game because, yeah, you're what? You don't have the courage to face it? You don't think your kids can handle it? They can't handle a fair fight, so you're going to cheat for them? And with your superior genetics, you're going to cheat? Oh, I see.
For years we've tried to legislate this as much as possible, and I think some laws have helped, while others have made it worse.
Yeah, well, that's just a nothing, vacuous description of the circumstance. So, yeah, I used to say that, everybody could say that to everything. Well, that's half right, and, well, that's pretty good, but not, that's just a nitpicker or naysayer's move. You have to itemize here a little bit better.
And I'm not anti-legislation or anti-regulation. Not at all.
Yeah, you're anti-fairness. I get it. Yes, you're anti-clear and easy understood mechanism of fairness. If I had a three-legged race in the town and everybody showed up and we gave the rich people a head start in the race, the little rich kids got head starts, everybody know it'd be fixed. Everybody'd say this isn't a race, this is bullshit. And they'd know that the easy way to fix it is, hey, let's put people back on the starting line. Not complicated.
I'm no libertarian. But there is kind of a fine line there, where you can regulate any industry or individuals to death,
Well, I'm just saying, you regulate them to death by what? Oh, you mean copyright law, that we should have rational copyright? Like if you can't make your money in 10 years, that maybe it's too lame, and we should give somebody else the right to do something with the technology? That kind of thing. Or we should just legacy everything. So maybe technically we owe copyright on the round wheel to Ugg's family, right? So we should go find out who's Ugg's genetics is, trace it down and give them all a copyright. Yeah.
And at some point it does, if you take away too many liberties and too much freedom, then
Freedom to what? Exploit people? Oh, let's take away the liberty to pay people based on how desperate they are. Let's have a desperation contest. I mean, we're going to head for a world where that's going to be part of the game. Who's going to go lower? Who's going to be willing to go lower? So, bravo. Way to go. Yeah, that's how you make civilization, is give people the freedom to fuck each other over.
You're hurting yourself and hurting everyone else. It's very difficult to try and regulate greed. There's always going to...
I'm sorry, it's not... you can say it's very difficult. No, it isn't difficult at all. It's not difficult at all for people to be accountable for what they do, and for people to be confined by rules. When you violate the rules, you pay the penalty, blah, blah, blah. We've seen it. We've seen it work all over the place. And you're just against the rules because the rules prevent you from cheating. Simple.
Agreed. There's, I've heard you talk about, for instance, inheritance. Well, we already have laws and we have, regulations as far as inheritance goes. There's a huge tax. I don't remember what it is.
No, there isn't. So that's a lie. That's what Bush got rid of. So you're not even on board on that one. So again, wrong, I guess, is the answer to that. Wrong. And we know that, the game is played in ways where it's not taxed if you don't cash it. And the asset is still an asset, right? So if you don't, so that gets a little tricky too when you're inheriting commodities.
I'm just going to say it's 40%, maybe even more.
Yeah, well, you're wrong.
There's a hefty tax on inheritance, and
no, there isn't, and there isn't any tax on the first. Even in the old days, there wasn't any tax on the first $4 million. $4 million tax free.
So what happens is a lot of people like to just they'll give their money to their kids before they die. You know what I mean? If you regulate it even more, as you would like to do, believe me, we're talking about people who are, ambitious, intelligent, and,
cheaters. Yeah, they're cheaters. They're fucking nepotists who think their kids deserve a head start, deserve an unfair advantage. They can't fight the fight, so they're going to cheat. And that's all they're doing, selfishly cheating, nepotistically, and I'm supposed to say somehow that's rational and reasonable. Well, I'm not going to say it's rational and reasonable because it's completely emotional and stupid. Alright, if you want civilization, you got to do better than that. Alright, this racism, natalism, nepotism, it's all the same thing. It's just a gross bigotry. It has nothing to do with reason. It has nothing to do with being fair or decent. It has everything to do with just being a selfish cunt.
They find a way. They'll find a loophole.
A bigoted, selfish cunt. Oh, they'd find a loophole. Yeah, well, that's right. If the laws are written by people who want there to be a loophole. I mean, again, this is such a lie that you can't write coherent, straightforward law. Bullshit. Bullshit. I mean, obviously we don't have rational immigration law. Why? Because there's too many self-interests. Too many self-interests who don't want to stop immigration. Why are we taxing cigarettes when we could just regulate cigarettes, make it a prescription, and then people could get their prescription, and then kids couldn't get them at all? Oh, that's right, because that would work. That would protect children from the addiction, but that's not the game. They want the fucking money. So you're all just liars. You don't want to fix anything. You don't want to do anything right. You just want to naysay and nitpick and keep your cheats. Yeah, got it. You're just cheaters.
Create a loophole. There's always going to be a percentage of the population that's going to find a way to game the system.
Well, yeah, whatever. Game the system, right? You can only so what? In every sport, you can't have none of the sports succeed because they all get gamed, right? Yeah, always some guy figures out how to cheat and win. Oh no, the exact opposite happens from what I have observed. The ones who cheat lose. In the end, they can pull it off for a little while, but they get caught in the end, and the game over. The cheat is found. So again, this is just bullshit. It's perfectly stoppable. We just have to have the will. It's not a matter of how. It's a matter of why and will.
And it doesn't matter what economic system you have in place. We've seen this throughout history.
Prove it. Show me. Show me where we've seen it throughout history. Show me where we have done it honest and open. Show me. Show me where that exists.
And so this idea that you could have a government for the people, and regulate the rich out of it, so that it's fair for everyone else, is kind of it's a bit silly. I mean,
yeah, well, it says you. Okay, so you're the authority on what's possible. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't go to the authority on what's possible. And somehow we can't have a financial system that's accountable. And somehow, so right now, there's just no point at all, right? We might as well get rid of the income tax because everybody can just cheat. No, they can't, can they? That's right, they get caught and then they go to prison. And so it sort of works most of the time. And most people pay their taxes because they know they don't want the hassle of getting caught and punished. Gee, somehow we're able to do it, aren't we? Yeah, we are. So it's just a lie.
it never happened. And so it's kind of like, I mean, I know you kind of have a lot invested in this economic theory of yours, but sometimes everybody makes bad investments of some kind, and you just kind of have to. Sometimes
I kind of have to what? Say, oh, civilization isn't possible. You can't make people honest. Oh, you can't force people to be honest. You can't force people to be fair. Oh, you can't do it. You can't do it. Because you say so. And so I'm supposed to say, oh yeah, it makes sense. I'll just give up on that because Maryann says it can't be done. No, yeah, people who want to stay cheaters, who like cheater systems, yes, they're not going to go along because they're taking advantage. They're living off their cheats. So, yeah, I understand why they're opposed. But, yeah, I think it's viable. Especially if things get bad enough.
you just have to walk away and, move on to.
Yeah, well, if people thought like you, no American Revolution, no French Revolution, no revolution ever, no change whatsoever, no abolishing slavery, no bold moves ever. Everybody just sit around on their hands and say, woe is me, you can't fix anything.
Bigger and better things. And I think that might be the case with this one, with you.
Yeah, well, whatever. Again, if you were what, Dr. somebody or Professor somebody, I still wouldn't give a shit, but you're not any of those things. So why is your naysay opinion mean something? Why? What did you back it up with? You just can't do it? Oh, that was it. History says so.
Because there's, back to the whole thing, there's really no hope for that kind of change. Why not work on something where it really goes against human nature,
It goes against human nature. Well, gee, that's the whole fucking point of civilization, to tell you the truth. It's the whole fucking point, is to put human nature in its place and to say, guess what, our nature's kind of stupid and bigoted and idiotic, and we should do a little better than that. So you're just, again, what is this? It goes against your nature, so you can't be civilized. You can't use a douche. It goes against your nature. Can't you, come on, I could find about 17 million unnatural things probably about your fucking lifestyle. And I could wonder, why the fuck is she doing all that unnatural shit? Shit.
You really thrive heavily on this hope thing, and just like celebrity worship is a good example of that.
Oh yeah, and there's just no way you could ever raise somebody or nurture somebody in a sensible, rational, and civilized environment where they would find that to be frivolous and trivial. And it's not just a matter of psychology and brainwashing And if you stopped brainwashing kids to be assholes, then they wouldn't grow up to be assholes. Gee, you can't figure that out? Fuck.
I hate it, you hate it, but, we're in the minority because...
Well, you obviously don't hate it. You're defending it. So obviously you think the only reason why you hate it is because you're perversely unnatural. Because you think it's natural to be an asshole.
People are willing to, the market dictates what those people get paid, whether it's a sports celebrity, music.
Well, again, there's no point in talking about the market when we know the market is a contrivance of overpopulation. So that's not a market, right? That's you already know what the end game will be when you have excess and you have desperation. Then you're going to have desperation setting the wages. We can rationally know better than that, and we can rationally do better than that.
Theater or whatever. The market dictates that, and the market says that they're willing to pay a lot of money for those people. And I think a lot of it has to do with, they look up to them and they think, oh, that could be me.
Well, they're willing to pay a lot of money to those people or all this stuff. Yeah, they're willing to beg the rich to, for their money. That's right. And what are they going to do? What state of New Jersey will screw the state of New York by lowering taxes? Or Connecticut will screw New Jersey, and they're just screwing each other. It's just a stupid, idiotic competition, a circular, nonsensical, idiotic competition into a toilet. It's a spiral into the toilet. It's absolutely stupid, but you can't understand
that. So that kind of shows you it's pretty much, it's up there pretty high on the list. So,
I don't know. Up there pretty high on the list. So you're saying that, how do I even put this? That if nobody talked about the lottery and nobody provided lottery tickets, that people would still want to play the lottery. Yeah, obviously you can seduce people with candy. But you'd feed your kids real food, don't you? Don't you?
Ownership, let's get back to ownership. Ownership, I'm a small business owner, and you seem to think that small business owners are uber wealthy. And it's actually not true. Actually, many small...
Well, yeah, as you put it, it seems to be your ambition. Okay, it's your ambition.
All business owners, mid-sized business owners in general. Let's just keep going.
Well, whatever. They're not the subject of my video, right? My subject of my video is inheritance of wealth. So, again, but if you want to talk about small business, I'll say, yeah, most of it it wouldn't need to exist if we could get big business to give us what we should be getting from it, which is not lies and racketeering.
Really struggle. Like a lot of times you have to, make sure all your employees get paid before you get paid. And, that's the reality of it,
Oh, whatever. It's not the reality of it, so that's just bullshit. So, yeah, you want to go through some demographic list of by a number of employees and how, as the number of employees increases, the exploitation of the business increases. The amount of theft from those employees.
A lot of what you talk about is, a very small percentage of population.
It doesn't matter if it's a very small percentage of the population. It controls a very large percentage of the world's industry. And that's the fact that I'm talking about. But again, you're not on the subject.
Granted, it's the small percentage that do own the great deal of the wealth. And I don't remember the statistics. I read it before, but I think it doesn't really matter at this point.
Oh, it doesn't matter if, 0.01% of the people own 40% of what's ownable. It doesn't matter. Well, I think it matters if you don't want to live in a monarchy.
Because there's little we can do about it.
Says you.
That's why I just think it doesn't make sense to spend so much time focusing on that.
It's the biggest flaw in the capitalist system. Adam Smith would have told you that also. There's no point in talking about invisible hands when this breaks the game. It does break the game. It ruins the competition. It fucks the race. Again, I could use every sport analogy. If you let legacy be part of who gets to run, you have no race.
Especially, like I did watch the Mystics' last video, and I took away something different than you did from when he spoke about, us moving horizontally and comparing that to libertarianism. I took away that he meant, I could be wrong, that he meant, this sideways kind of growth, which is basically going to mean, less wealth for the government, which is less wealth for the people, which means more and more people will be kind of left on their own to fend for themselves. And, we've already seen this.
Yeah, well, whatever. That's not going to work. It's not going to feed New York City. So all of that crap is just that crap, okay? So if you let the big infrastructure fall apart, the small infrastructure is going to be a bunch of guys with guns, all right? And they're coming to town. So if you're going to depend on some horizontal crap, it's going to have bullets flying all over the fucking place. So good luck with that.
Actually, with the VA veterans, thousands of them have just been left to die.
Yeah, well, they're a bunch of fucking warmongering motherfucking mercenaries, so yeah, let them fucking die as far as I give a rat's fucking ass. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck soldiers.
Because the government has had to make cuts. And that's what
they got their paycheck, okay? You want to be a mercenary, you get paid, okay? What? All this pension crap is a pile of shit. All right? You get your fucking pay. You want to save money for your future, or you want health care and all this other shit, then pay for it, fuckhead. I mean, really. But, I mean, just I don't want to hear this war shit, okay? There hasn't been a decent war in fucking 50 years.
Decided to cut. And, this is kind of the way it is in libertarianism now. You take care of yourself. So that's kind of what I took away from it, and I agree with that. I think...
Yeah, well, good luck, okay? I guess I can't wish it on you any quicker, okay? So I can't wait till the zombies show up, and maybe you get to have a video of it, and I could watch your last minutes on Earth, because you're going to get zombied. And I'm going to say, well, that's what you get, you naysaying cunt. You didn't want civilization, you don't have it.
But it's very likely, none of us have a crystal ball. It's really difficult.
Well, I'm sorry, it's not going to be that hard to fucking goddamn predict, okay? $18 trillion in national debt, $40 trillion in personal debt. He says the writing's on the fucking wall.
You want to predict the future. But it does seem like this may be the trend.
All payable, all interest payments payable to people who don't work for the money.
That we will just... that those at the very top are going to try to do everything they can to soak up whatever is left, whatever little gravy or froth is left in the system.
Well, whatever. If that's how you think it's working now, you're like I've said, you're an idiot. They're not soaking it up; they're taking it, and they're leaving the crumbs behind. So, let them eat cake.
And, the rest of us are going to have to be very creative to survive. And I'm not saying that I predict a collapse or anything like that. I just think that life will be a lot harder moving forward. And so why not, look at the situation realistically and try to come up with ways where...
Yeah, well, I don't know what your realistic plan is, that people are still going to come out to your restaurant for a $50 meal when the hard times hit. No, I think you're going to be cooked.
We can help ourselves and each other.
Yeah, well, you don't want to do any of that shit. You've made it clear you're a greedy cunt who's out for herself and wants to buy lots of lottery tickets. Okay, got it.
In a way that's, plausible. I mean, it's it's difficult when, when you've invested a lot, like if you invested a great deal.
Well, whatever. This whole investment thing, this has nothing to do with an investment. I'm a rational fucking human being. I figured out that you don't bash cats over the head with a hammer. Yeah, I didn't need to figure it out twice. I didn't need to think about it. I don't need to recontemplate it. I don't need to re-understand it. I understand it. You're saying cheating is good. Okay, that somehow nepotism is rational. It makes sense. Our civilization should be built upon a fundamental bigotry. That's how we should be, because we can't be anything better than that. And I'm saying it's idiotic and stupid, and that's never going to fucking change, no matter how many little whiny little manipulations you pull. You're never going to change the fact that all you're defending is cheating and selfishness and bigotry. That's all you're doing. And pretending you have an argument. It's disgusting. I'm not the one who needs to reconsider, Dumbo. You do, you stupid cunt.
In this economic theory of yours. Sometimes it's best to just, everybody makes bad investments, and sometimes it's best to just...
Well, it's not true anyway that everybody does. And again, I'm not invested in anything but fucking logic. I know that bigotry is bullshit. So, yeah, that's over. I know cheating sucks. What, you're going to change that fact? No. I mean, you're just too fucking much of a jackass to be playing this game. Alright, this isn't some emotional thing, you stupid bitch. This is a fundamental, logical truth. If you saw somebody fucking eating babies or something, okay, manipulating, chasing them off the street into their fucking wood chipper, you'd say, gee, that's wrong, I'm going to do something about it. Some asshole wouldn't sit there and walk up to you and say, gee, you're just invested in some silly notion that kids matter. I mean, fuck you.
Way and move on to, something more productive.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Might be the best thing to do.
Yeah, well, find a gas stove.
So, fairness is not the kind of thing that we can't really legislate that very well.
Oh, right. Again, another bullshit. We can't do it. We can't do it. We can't do it. Of course we can do it. We have contract law. We have lots of fairness that we've written into a lot of things because we know what the fuck it is. It's not that complicated. So you're just fucking naysaying because you don't want to live in that world. You don't want civilization because you're just fundamentally a lying, cheating cunt. Got it.
Well, because those that, the ambitious ones in society will always, be there.
Again, we're not talking about them, we're talking about their spawn, who are the lazy, selfish, useless pricks. And the ambitious ones often are just cheaters. Bill Gates made his fortune copywriting somebody else's invention and renting it to IBM. It's just shystery all over the place. No real contribution to mankind, just all negative contributions. He held progress back. He didn't create progress.
You can't really rid society of them. And in some ways, I personally think that to a certain extent they have a place.
Yeah, well, you're dumb.
I think, we all do. That's just my personal...
Yeah, you're stupid.
Situation.
You're ignorant. Ignorant. So, whatever. Yeah, I think you need to rethink. Yeah, I think you need to reconsider. I think you have to give up on your investment in bigotry. Yeah, I think so. Patronizing enough? That's enough.